Hello friends around the globe, this is Dee from the New Day Opportunity, and this is another episode of the 10-minute news. Today's title is Fatality rate of coronavirus is falling to a realistic number of 0.1%, which may sound a little bit low, but if you consider all these patients which have not been tested and still are infected, you will see that those are probably nearly as many as the one that have been tested. So even the percentage-wise, we're already under the 1%. Which currently stands at 1.4%. Moving on to Italy, which is becoming a hot spot even for the world now, as they have more infections than even China. And there's an article there that I read which makes lots of sense. And this article mentions that how lots of Italian companies, mostly companies that sell clothing and accessories, been sold for Chinese. And all the Chinese owners, they brought all their own workers which fly in, fly out from China to Italy directly. They even have direct flights to Wuhan, China. At the same time, they've been promoting in media for a long time now how Italian people should respect Chinese, how they hug them, how should they greet them in public, which is ideal to spread the virus. And this will make lots of sense why the numbers are so high. And of course, Italians, they didn't pay so much attention as they were early in this epidemic. With the cure out in the public, even Donald Trump announced that they're looking seriously into this malaria drug, which has a very promising results. The mainstream media is fighting hard to maintain this panic mode, and because once people realize that the cure is there, it's very hard to maintain panic. So now the main focus, the main agenda is to discredit this drug, to try to say that Trump is irresponsible for even promoting such drug, as this not proven. Yet the drug has been on the market for more than 50 years and has been proven it can be prescribed even now without even testing, because we know the side effects, we know how it works for malaria, so it's really does not stop any doctor to prescribe it even now. When you look back to the United States, especially the states of California and New York State, the infections are getting out of control a little bit, and they even say in California they will stop even testing more people, because it's now the phase that you just have to do treatments or insulation and keep people at home. But you have to be aware there's another trick of those two states, as they've been pretty much financially bankrupt for the last few years, and the only way to gain money is through some emergencies. We all know California have these major fires nearly every season, which milks federal government money. And with a court decision in the last few months, when the Trump administration sued in court that they should be allowed to cut the funding for all the sanctuary cities and sanctuary states, now governors of the states, especially the sanctuary states, get in panic because they know they'll be losing the federal funding. So of course they have to hype up the numbers of infections and be as careless as possible to maintain at least some emergency states so they can milk as much money as possible from the federal government. There's also this 5G connection, which is getting widespread news from, of course, not mainstream media, but lots of alternative sources. But you have to be aware that there are several different bandwidths and also frequencies which are in play for the 5G networks. And most of the mobile providers at this stage, this is early 2020 or even last year 2019, they're still using the frequencies of the 4G networks, which is in the neighborhood of 700 megahertz. But the new standards have different options for the providers. They can, of course, use the existing 7 megahertz or 800 megahertz bandwidth, but the other frequencies are 3.5 gigahertz, 28 gigahertz, 60 gigahertz, and I believe it's 74 gigahertz. But the really problematic frequency is the one of 60 gigahertz, which is a millimeter wave. Has been also used by US military to do the crowd dispersing, which can cause the effect of burning skin. And this is exactly the same frequency that's been used in Wuhan when they installed over 10,000 antennas throughout the city. and push this really roll out of the 5G network, like full 5G network in a city of Wuhan. And if you saw those videos of people dying on the streets, remember there was a security guard pretty much sitting on behind his desk, and the security camera was showing him sitting normally, doing his business, out of the blue, dropping down the floor and dies, or a person next to the ambulance watching his telephone, standing and falling flat on his face, dead. Yes, this no virus can cause such a quick reaction. This has been said by many doctors. So you have to be careful when you analyze this 5G connection. You have to look always for frequencies. There was a nice video posted, I believe around 20th of the March, about Dr. Thomas Cowan, a medical doctor. There was a health event, I believe in Arizona, where he was really putting this connection to 5G, but mostly he was talking about how every pandemic throughout the world in the last 150 years was always connecting to some new electrification of the earth. For example, 1918, the Spanish flu actually started in the United States, in Boston. And this half a year earlier, 1918, they roll out the new high-intensity radar systems in the naval bases. And soon those bases spread out to Europe and everywhere, and people started to catch this flu, and then pandemic started and so many people died. Similar thing was in 1968 when Hong Kong flu. There was only 8 months after they put the satellites in the orbit, which were very close to Van Allen radiation belt, and this radiation started to leaking down to the earth. 2003, for example, was a 3G rollout, and what do you know? There was a SARS pandemic. 2009, 4G rollout, swine flu, and 2020 now we have the pandemic of coronavirus, COVID-19, with 5G rollout in most countries. Okay, the last news today is the happy news for all the QAnon followers. Q posted after 13 days of darkness. The post is very short. It just says, "Do not fear," and I believe it. So do not fear yourself. Before we wrap up, let's think about some benefits, what you can get out of this. Today, let's focus on a healthy aspect of life, what you can do in these days when you're back home in quarantine. I suggest you think about your lifestyle, your immune system, because when you're busy, when you're going to work, you don't have time to do workout, to eat properly, to think, to meditate, to do breathing. So now it's a perfect time to think what you put in your mouth, yes, because this poisons you. And so you focus on eating healthy, light. You have to do exercise. Without moving your body, you cannot clean all these toxins out of your body. And why not throw in some breathing at the end and allow yourself to get some fresh air and oxygenize your body and feel fresh and alert. Okay, friends, that was it for today. Wish you a wonderful Sunday, and till the next time, stay focused.
These skies have